Hi, everybody. Marye Dean Esquire here at the WallStreetLawyer.com. And welcome to the broadcast. Let's see, I know you hear an echo. While we do some technical difficulties here, we're going to give everybody a minute to come in. As you do come into the stream, I want you to drop a B1 in the chat. Let me know that you are here. Okay. Let me know that you are here. Welcome to the Black Wall Street Revolution. Welcome to the revolution, guys. I want you to drop a B1 in the chat. That's a little something I picked up from Dr. Boyce Watkins, because we are Black first. That's where I learned that from. So if you Black first, drop a B1 in the chat. We're going to get right into this. Welcome to the Black Wall Street. I am so excited that you are here today, because what I'm about to share with you has the power to completely transform the way that you think about doing your business. So, I feel like such a big four eyes for my reading glasses. Don't judge me. Okay. Okay, we'll give it a couple more minutes. Another 30 seconds. I have somebody just text me, said they were running a little late. But as we wait, I want you guys to drop "I am the revolution" in the chat. Let's see. I am the revolution. Because this is not another webinar. This is a revolution. Economic freedom in your Black-owned business. For Black entrepreneurs. Today, it's all about you. For us, by us. So let's go. Let me ask you guys something. What if the only thing standing between you and a consistently profitable, scalable 6 or 7-figure business was one simple shift? Not more hustle, not more clients, not a new platform, but a single powerful system that multiplies your revenue and protects everything that you build. I know why you're here. I know what you're going through. You do not lack creativity. Black people, let me tell you something. We are the secret sauce. So we do not lack the ingenuity and the creativity or the soul power, because we power their systems. Let's be real. What you lack is solid systems to ground that genius into reality. So type a yes in the chat if you're feeling me. Here's what we're going to cover today in this webinar. 3 secrets that will change everything. Secret number 1, the revenue revolution, how to generate real income in the first 7 to 14 days working with me. My secret number 2, the Black Wall Street Lift Foundation, where we're going to put the legal, insurance, financial, and tax systems into your business. Okay. Or secret number 3, the legacy lock-in, how to sustain consistent 6 and 7 figure months and build generational wealth. 5, 6, and 7 figure months. Don't sleep. So let's get in a little bit before we dive into the work. I want you to know who I am. Who am I? Marye Dean Esquire at thewallstreetlawyer.com, and how I came to be. And in that, if you know anything about me, you know that my foundation of who I am and everything, you know, that I'm a one-trick pony. And the only thing that I know is I have mastered my relationship with God. And even in the book that I wrote, blackwallstreet.com, How to Build a Thriving Black Business Using the Laws of the Universe, on the very first page, I say, it's a quote from God. Use what I gave you, God. And so because of that, my life's mantra, if you will, is and my life mission and my go-to is that in order to manifest abundance, one must understand the co-creation process with infinite intelligence. Now, I'm a nerd, so of course my quote gonna have a lot of big words. But in other words, in order to make real money in your business, you have to know how to create your reality with source. So where did this start from? You know, I I grew up on the South Side, and and my aunt, who told me I could never be a lawyer, was getting a crazy check because she said a talking pig was telling her to hurt people. Now I swear to God, I'm not making this up. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. And because I actually did go with her to the doctor as a child before, because it was this running joke how she was scamming the system. Where all my scamming ass niggas at? Yeah, that part. So yeah, I'm from the South Side of things. Don't let these glasses fool you. Okay, so yes, that was my childhood. And interestingly enough, this is the person who told me that I could never be a lawyer. Never be a lawyer. And I put when pigs fly because when I when I moved to Wall Street, there was an actual pig parade. I kid you not. There was a pig parade. Let me see this. Wall Street scene. I should have had this queued up for you, but I just kind of just talking from my heart right now. Well, anyway, they were filming this big budget movie about a flying pig, and they filmed a big scene in the financial district, and there literally was a parade of pigs walking down the street on the day that I moved on Wall Street. Let me see images. I want you to see this because let me see. You know, when I say, let me share my screen real quick. When I say God has a funny way of doing things, because my aunt, who told me that I could never be a lawyer, the day that the Wall Street lawyer moved on Wall Street, they were filming a big budget film. So there was literally a pig parade. And this is the end result. This is that's on Broad, right in front of the New York Stock Exchange. And so when I say, do pigs fly? Pigs really do fly. I mean, even on my desk, I have a piece of a prop from the actual pig jerky that I got from the chicken man, because pigs really do fly. But I digress. Back to the story. Back to the story, because I didn't just become an attorney. I became an attorney. I got the highest grade in 2 classes in law school, winning the Emeritus Jurisprudence Awards for evidence and commercial paper. So when you ask me, do pigs fly? I'm going to tell you yes. In order to experience miracles, you do have to believe in them. And so I am a living testimony, a proud graduate of Thurgood Marshall School of Law, where I learned that a lawyer who is not a social engineer is a social parasite. That is the duty that was placed upon my head. And what did Thurgood Marshall do? Thurgood Marshall is just a Supreme Court justice, and all that he contributed to society. I could only be so great to do, a quarter of what he done, and that would have been a great thing. So here I am as a baby lawyer standing next to the first president of the United States of America. Honey, you couldn't tell me nothing. I just felt so American. I had just graduated law school, practicing law. I just felt like I too am America. Langston Hughes. Found myself on Wall Street at the height of the Occupy Wall Street movement, and working for the man. I really felt like I was on the wrong side of the law. A week before my 33rd birthday, that's when I got the call. It was the darkest day of my life. I got the call that my younger brother was addicted to crystal meth. That he called me while he was under the influence of crystal meth. Take a breath. Yes. And so I began at that moment asking God, well, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And I felt like I was on the wrong side of history. Here I was, working for the man. I'm supposed to be this public interest lawyer, a lawyer who's not a social engineer, is a social parasite. So here I am as this social interest lawyer, but I'm down here occupying. I'm down here working for the man. I was a contract attorney for firms like Sullivan and Cromwell, representing companies like Goldman Sachs, the very man who we were down there occupying Wall Street against. And so I literally found myself occupying Wall Street on my lunch hour, working 12, 13-hour days, dark 30 to dark 30. We were keeping broker hours, working just like they did around the clock. And so I just began asking God, well, who am I? Who am I? Because up until that point, I was calling myself the dean of law to my brother's dean of style, because we were the deans. And so I just kept asking God, who am I? Who am I? And that is when I heard the WallStreetLawyer.com. That is when I heard the WallStreetLawyer.com. Hallelujah. Let him use ya. Okay. And so you'll know, if you ever get the chance to work with me, I constantly say, how many of you guys know that problems are opportunities in disguise? That's my life's mantra. My life mantra. Problems are opportunities. Problems are opportunities. Problems are opportunities. So I became the WallStreetLawyer.com, or better said, God birthed the WallStreetLawyer.com. The WallStreetLawyer.com was born out of my darkest hour. So, say this with me, guys. They buried me in the dirt, but they didn't know that I was a seed. They buried me in the dirt. They didn't know that I was a seed. And so that's how I see adversity. I see, as you go to the gym, in order to put on muscle, you have to put the pressure on. You have to put the weight on in order to gain muscle. That's it. And so so I just started doing all kinds of stuff. I was featured in Forbes Magazine at the same time that I rode a bicycle from Houston to New Orleans. That's another story for another day. But that's the spirit of a woman who would not be conquered by depression. Because I always know that even in my darkest hour, I just need to distract myself because God is always working things out. Everything is always working out for my benefit. So I just grabbed the bike and distracted myself. It was also a little bit of that sex transmutation that they talk about in Think and Grow Rich. It's a whole chapter on why you don't succeed before the age of 40. And it has a lot to do with transmuting that sexual energy into other things. And so that was me. That's a little bit of that too. So if you have not read Think and Grow Rich, you should grab that book. It's a whole, because everything is energy. And when you learn how to manipulate energy, then and become a master of your universe, then your life, it becomes under your control. Grand prize winner of the NYC business pitch competition, had the Manhattan borough president hand me a novelty check for $5,000. So just out here conquering the world, gliding on that power, co-creating my universe with the great I am. I even got Iyanla Vanzant to endorse my first book, blackwallstreet.com, How to Build a Thriving Black Business Using the Laws of the Universe. So for those of you so back to the story of how I became the wallstreetlawyer.com. So 3 years later, things came to a head. I got some pictures of my brother where he got jumped by 6 men in Brooklyn and thrown down a flight of stairs. After he was thrown down a flight of stairs, a week later, I fell down a flight of stairs. So I got sucked back into the drama. Oh, I am my brother's keeper. I am my brother's keeper. I got to fix it. And so what my client, shout out to Rick Mathis, producer of the film Black Friday, he told me that Dr. Iyanla Vanzant was speaking at Hillside Church in Atlanta. And so I booked my ticket to her event, get my plane ticket, and I get a VIP ticket to her event. It was my plan I print out pictures of my brother's face. His face looked like Emmett Till. I'm deciding I'm gonna go for shock value, because as soon as she sees this, she's gonna say, "Oh my gosh, I gotta help this girl. Look at this man, I gotta help this girl." So that was my plan, and so I get to Atlanta. I walk out of the airport and I look to my right, and guess who was standing next to me at the airport? Yes, Dr. Iyanla Vanzant. Dr. Iyanla Vanzant standing next to me at the airport. And so after I picked my mouth up off the ground, walked up to her and said, "My name is Mary. I'm the Wall Street lawyer. I came all the way to Atlanta so you could fix my brother's life." And her son, shout out to Damon Vanzant, looked at me and said, "Hey, the Wall Street lawyer, I heard of you before." And I said, "You heard of me for real, or you pulling my chain?" Well, when I said that, she bust out laughing, because she know her son. She bust out laughing, okay? And I think, I got her laughing. I'm in there. So I give her my spill again. "My name is Mary. I'm the Wall Street lawyer. I came all the way to Atlanta so you can fix my brother's life." And I'm just crying. Look at my brother. See, look at his pictures. Look at his picture. "I need your help. Fix his life. Fix his life." Yep. And so the first thing she said to me, which was very shocking, she says, "Why do you care so much?" That really threw me for a loop. Why do you care so much? And then the next thing she said to me was, and she said it, she yelled it at the top of her lungs. You know how mother is. She said, "Let him go. Let him go." And to be quite honest with you, it still took me another, that was 17. It still took me another 2 years to fully let him go. And that's actually when I moved back to Texas right before COVID. It was letting him go, kind of letting New York go, and just going back to Texas because I felt like I just needed a hug. I'd been roaming the streets of Brooklyn looking for my brother who was strung out on crystal meth. New York had kicked me out. You got it. Y'all got it. Y'all got it. And I just walked away because at the end of the day, you can't do it for him. He has to do it for himself. And really, as you keep what you have become, truthfully, is you have become an enabler because because once he hits rock bottom, he will change, but he won't hit rock bottom as long as you're propping him up. So you need to step away and let him live the life he so badly wants to live. And if the truth was, he really wasn't doing nothing but killing me along the way. So I had to step away. And so coming back to Texas was kind of a nurturing for me. I gotta take a breath on that. Yeah, excuse me. Drop the word breathe in the chat if you need to, if you have to just sometime pause for the cause and take a breath. And I know we as Black women are out there caping for the entire planet. So I strongly urge you sometimes, sister, look in the mirror and cape for yourself. And that's what I did. But I'm something like a pimp, and ain't no way I'm gonna meet mother and not, slide her the script of my book, blackwallstreet.com, how to build a thriving Black business using the laws of the universe. I did it because I had to. And what did she send me back? In law school, I was taught that ignorance of the law is no defense. In life, there are universal laws that operate about which many of us are clueless. Marye Dean Esquire has made a valiant effort to ensure that you are living within the boundaries of the law. Attention, entrepreneurs, this is a must read. Shout out to Dr. Iyanla Vanzant, who wrote me that, who had such wonderful things to say about my book. And truthfully, I would not have even sought her out if it was not for wanting to fix my brother's life. And so if my brother had never been addicted to drugs, if he had never, got jumped by 6 men in Brooklyn and then thrown downstairs and then me falling downstairs, would I have become the wallstreetlawyer.com? Would I have gotten my first book endorsed by Dr. Iyanla Vanzant, who I might add, I watched her books. Her books got me through law school. And so I just cannot, imagine, overjoyed, over my heart is full when I can think of, when I look back over my life and I have mastered, excuse me, now they ring on your laptop too. I mastered the art of transmuting pain into power, mastered the art of creating my life and using what others have discarded and building a life upon that, so much so that I received a $250,000 investment during the pandemic. Okay, I got a $250,000 investment during the pandemic at a time when everybody else was out there getting fraudulent PPP loans because they did not have their legal, insurance, financial, and tax systems in place like what I help you instill in your Black-owned business, because we don't do that over here. Okay. So how do we apply the law of adversity in our lives today? When we think about every single problem that you go through in your life is an opportunity in disguise. And that's because the premise of my life is that God loves me so much so that he would never allow anything bad to happen to me. And so for nothing. And so as the game of life goes, if I have to go into the valley, just like in the video games you're playing, if I got to go slide down into the valley and jump over some swing from some branches and jump over some alligators and wrestle with a lion, then what I'm going to get is something that's going to make me invincible. So now that when I move through the world with that, everything that jumps on me just bounces right off. Okay, so how do we apply that to our lives today? Well, think about it like this. They've gutted the Voting Rights Act, the adversity. They dismantled DEI, adversity. But what they have not taken, every time I go out to eat, I still see black folks eating good. Every time I'm going shopping, I see us in the mall. And so what we still have is that our resources, that $1.8 trillion spending power that we have in the black community, that ain't going nowhere. Okay. So let's talk about why what I'm offering for you here today is radically different. Here is the problem I see every day in black owned businesses. With brilliant, talented black entrepreneurs, business coaches teach you sales, which is great. And attorneys teach you protection, which is also great. Financial advisors teach you money, which is wonderful. But nobody is having all 5 conversations at the same time. Revenue without protection is just a longer fall. And what we do at Black Wall Street is different. One integrated course of action, not a course, but a course of action where we have integrated your sales and then your legal, insurance, financial, and tax systems to support that sales system, to lift that sales system to the next level. That's what we're doing at our Black Wall Street Lift program. So this is for you if you're brilliant at what you do, but the income is inconsistent. Up some days, down some days, okay? And maybe you are tired of the feast or famine cycle in your business. Maybe you are trading time for money and you feel it in your body. You know, we carry our emotions in our body. Maybe you're bootstrapping your legal, financial, and tax side of your business, and you want to put something in place that's a little more systematic so that you can relax into the flow of your business. Maybe you are building a legacy, not just a business, for your family and your community, and you are done funding their economy and ready to build your own. This is for you. This is not for you if you are looking for a shortcut or a get rich quick scheme. If you have never invested in yourself and you believe that self investment is unnecessary. If you are not willing to implement all 5 pillars in your business at once. Now, let me tell you something. I'm not creating more busy work for you in your business. What I am doing is giving you the work that if you do consistently in your business, then you will see financial results that will pay you dividends long into the future. This is also not for you if you're not ready to show up and do the work. I'm not doing the work for you. If you want me to do the work for you, you can book a consultation with me at thewallstreetlawyer.com, and you can pay my one-on-one fees, and I will gladly do this for you. But this isn't done with you. I'm going to do this with you in real time, putting the contracts in your business, putting the, if you will, intellectual property protections, trademark registration. We're going to trademark your registration in real time in this program. Your financial systems in place, your insurance systems in place, so that you can maximize your tax deductions. The 5 pillars of optimal success. Every day you wait is a vote against yourself. Think about your income. Another 6 months of feast or famine, while less qualified people captured that income. And when I say less qualified people, I'm talking about the grifters. I'm talking about, dare I say it? I'm going to say it, Dr. Boyce Watkins, the grifters, the people that they talk a good game, but they're not really giving you anything other than hope. I'm not a hope well, I am selling hope, but I'm selling more than hope. That part. There you go. I'm selling more than hope. What I am selling you is that that no one is coming to save you, and that you have everything inside of you to do, be, and have everything that you want to do, be, and have in this world. All you need to do is ground that into some systems so that you can reap the rewards of your own chi. But before we dive in, today I'm giving you everything that I have, the blueprint, the system, the 5 conversations that nobody else is having at the same time. At the end, for those ready to go faster, I will share with you how we can work together. Okay? And if you don't, you want to bootstrap this on your own, you're more than welcome to do that as well. The information that I am giving you today will stay with you. I hope it stays with you, whether you choose to work with me or not. Secret number 1, the 30-day revolution. Okay, so we're going to destroy some false beliefs here today. 3 in particular. The first false belief that we are going to destroy is that the economic system was built to exclude me. No matter how hard I work, the odds are permanently stacked against me. That is a lie, and I am about to show you why. Let's talk about the hustle trap. You cannot hustle your way to freedom. You cannot grind your way into generational wealth. You cannot outwork a broken foundation, but you can co-create with God, and that changes everything. Okay. We're talking about going from trading hours for money, where you are exhausted, capped, dependent on you showing up every day. And we're going to go from that and shift into co-creating through alignment, packaging your genius and building infrastructure around your genius to receive what the universe is sending you. Okay, let's talk about Nia. Let's talk about Nia, clarifying one thing. Let's talk about Miss Nia. Nia was brilliant, a brilliant spiritual coach. She applied the laws of the universe to her personal life, meditating, journaling, daily affirmations, alignment, all through and through. But the moment she sat down at her desk, she completely shifted into hustle mode, grinding, forcing, pushing, pulling. And like I said before, you cannot hustle your way into sovereignty. You cannot ground your way into generational wealth. You cannot outwork a broken foundation, but you can co create within the universe. I asked her one question. What if you applied the same laws that you use in your practice of your business to your actual business? What if you applied the same laws that you use in your practice to your business? What if your intuition could guide your next right business move? She went quiet. Then she said, I've never thought about my business that way. In meditation, prayer, or stillness, ask yourself this: what single transformation am I here to deliver? Not everything that you do, the one result your clients come to you for, your genius packaged, not just our soul. Your intellectual property packaged into a scalable offer, a group program, serving many with your genius without selling more hours, workshop or intensive, a defined experience with a clear outcome, product size service, standardized fixed price, documented process. This is your intellectual property that you should be protecting, and you should protect your trademark. Make it work without you. Build your brand. But how do you make sure all of that is protected? Build your revenue machine and trust the flow. This is what we do in our sales system. Create an automated presentation, a webinar, a video, a sales letter, a challenge like the very one that you're in right now. Combine infrastructure with your spiritual practice. Let the system work while you're in flow, not in force. Your most valuable asset is not your time, it is your intuitive, co creative power. Now, clock that. In her first 30 days, she generated $18,000, nearly triple her previous best month, while working fewer hours than she had in years. She did not grind her way there, she co created her way there. My genius is my power. Type that in the chat. My genius is my power. Type that. Spin that. Okay, so the secret number 2 to creating the life and business of your dreams. The second, which is us destroying our second false belief: legal and financial infrastructure is expensive. I will figure it out later. Figuring out later comes with the cost. Let's talk about a client that I'm going to call Tiffany. Tiffany was a boutique owner who lost $100,000 overnight from a trademark dispute. She built a beautiful, profitable online boutique, clearing $15,000 a month. 10 to 15, but about $15,000 on average. She was on top of the world. Then she got a letter, a cease and desist. A large corporation had filed a trademark on a similar name that she had on a similar name. She had no choice: get sued or completely rebrand. She had to shut down her website overnight, change every social media handle to another one, destroy all packaging and inventory, and rebuild her brand entirely from scratch, losing over $100,000 in revenue and rebranding costs. Not because she wasn't smart, but because she was, in her mind, careful, too careful, afraid to spend, I will say. Always with the excuse that I'm going to get to this later. So let's get in how you protect and preserve your wealth. How you protect and preserve your after you get that sales system and your income going. And what Tiffany could have done better if she had put this in place, it would have helped her know where she needed to fill in gaps, and she would have been able to fill those gaps in and to make sure her business was protected, corporate compliant. So we go through, we have here is the legal, insurance, financial, and tax systems that your business needs in order to support your sales system, to generate money, to protect and preserve the money that you are already generating. Legal. Under the legal system, we go through your corporate structure to make sure that you're properly structured in the right state, that you have your formation documents are all up to date, whether you're running an LLC, limited liability company, a corporation, a S corp, series LLC, you name it. We go through your entire structure. Then we look into your contracts. Do you have attorney drafted contracts for every client, contractor, employee, and partner? What is your brand name? Is your brand name protected with the trademark registration before someone else files. And is that trademark registration current? Is there some filings that you need? Which is why none of these systems are one and done. These are systems that you have to review on at minimum monthly. Okay. Insurance. Insurance says, I love you. It protects your clients, your family, and your legacy. So we review your insurance systems to see if you're personal, your home, renters, auto, health, disability, life, business, professional liability, errors and omissions or malpractice insurance, general business insurance, or employment practices. One of my favorite quotes to say about insurance is that insurance is not about it's not about you. It says, I love you. It is about love. Then we go over into your financial systems after we put the and what kind of financial systems do you have in place? Now, this is an important one because even though we all say we want to be a millionaire, a multimillionaire, and have, it's interesting to me how little we actually focus on our financial systems and actually know what our money map numbers are and actually have an exact path to your income goal. That includes expense tracking, separate business and personal accounts, which is a huge one, so that you do not mess up your liability. Profit and loss statements, which help you examine the health report of your business. Financial modeling, projections, so that you grow with strategy and not fear. And what are you and are you reviewing these numbers on a weekly, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annual basis? And then finally, your tax systems. Are you setting aside 20 to 30% of every dollar? Are you meeting with your CPA not once, but at least 2 times per year? And are you living the corporate lifestyle? Okay. Are you living the corporate lifestyle? When you live the corporate lifestyle and document everything properly in your business, you can pay less than 10% in taxes. A tax mess is not the end of your empire, but it is the beginning of getting everything set right. Let's talk about Simon. Simon had a thriving e-commerce business, great revenue, completely legally exposed. He applied these lift systems to his business, and a copycat appeared 6 months later. One cease and desist shut everything down immediately. His 6-figure revenue survived, and so did our relationship. Let's talk Keisha. Keisha was capped at $8,000 a month. I told her it was time for her to scale, and by doing so, build out her group program. In the first 30 days, she made 15 grand, nearly double her best month while working less. Do you have holes in your business system? In your sales, legal, insurance, financial, or tax systems? Okay, here's me with the hustle tank with 50 Cent. I was his G Unity business coach. Is why he gave me a jersey at the Rockets game. Shout out to 50 Cent. Yeah, but I was the business coach, and I'm so proud of my students who won. 2 groups from Houston, Texas, from Worthing High School, won real cash prizes to fund their businesses. So I'm very proud that I was a part of that. But do you have holes in your business? And let's talk about the legacy lock-in and the third belief that we're going to false belief that we are destroying here today. Your third belief that we're going to destroy today is that I am not sophisticated, connected, or resourced enough to build generational wealth. That is for other people. That is a lie manufactured to keep us small. Abundance is your birthright. Let that sink in. Abundance is your birthright. And by your birthright, soul power, something that you have naturally, um is so powerful that they want to destroy it, and they did, and they burned it to the ground once, but they cannot ever do it again, because you can jail a revolutionary, but you cannot jail a revolution. You can burn down physical buildings, but you cannot stop the revolution from inspiring Black entrepreneurship for many, many years to come. They burned it because it worked. Because the Black community with economic sovereignty is the most powerful and the most threatening thing this country has ever seen. But we are building it back. Automated, repeatable, documented processes that carry your genius without constant personal invention. Works while you meditate, travel, rest. Stop being the chief employee of your own company. Become the visionary CEO you were always meant to be. Your contracts, entity structure, and intellectual property protection need regular review as you grow and as this world and America shifts. Treat your legal foundation like your spiritual practice, consistent, intentional, and ever evolving. Consistent income is not the destination, it is the foundation. So, how do you think in terms of legacy? What is legacy and what does legacy mean to you? Succession planning, consistent income. When you have that consistent income, how do you make sure that it's preserved for the next generation? Who carries this income, this business forward if something happens to you? Is your intellectual property protected? Your books, your program, your methodologies, your brand, valuable beyond your lifetime if protected? Do you have the infrastructure to sustain growth? And is that in a thriving ecosystem? Okay. Build not just a business that thrives, but an ecosystem that will sustain not just you, but your entire community. So let's do a recap of what we went through today. False belief number one destroyed. The odds are permanently stacked against me. No, they are not. There is a $1.8 trillion spending power that we have in the Black community. You have money to spend. The question is, where are you spending it? Are you spending it in the way that is the most fruitful, meaning that it will produce the most fruit for you in your back own business? Okay. What we do know is that the only thing missing was the system, a system to contain it. Excuse me. False belief number two destroyed. Legal protection is expensive. I will figure it out later. Later is a luxury we cannot afford. Not in today's climate, not in Trump's America, especially right now. False belief number three that we destroyed is I am not resourced enough for generational wealth. Listen, abundance is your birthright. Scarcity is manufactured. It is not your truth. That's why I stopped watching the news a long time ago, because I'm not letting somebody else create my reality. Not when I know that I create my own reality. So, if you implemented these three systems into your life, do you believe that you could finally reach a consistent 5, 6, and 7 figure month? Do you believe that you could build a business that no administration can touch? Do you believe the $1.8 trillion in spending power has a place with your name on it? Do you believe the laws of the universe are working in your favor? Do you believe that God will provide? So you have two choices. You can do the solo path, which is weeks of piecing together a sales system, navigate the legal alone without an attorney in your corner, build financial and tax strategy in isolation while running your business. Every fork in the road alone, every doubt, every obstacle, costly mistakes that the right support would have prevented. Or path number two, the revolution, the path of the revolutionary. All five pillars implemented together, not pieced apart. Direct support from me, myself, Marye Dean Esquire at thewallstreetlawyer.com, surrounded by aligned Black entrepreneurs who are building alongside you. Real strategic counsel for your specific business, revenue in the first 14 days, with a fortress built underneath it from day one. Introducing the Black Wall Street Lift Intensive. This is not just a program, this is a course of action. Complete infrastructure with all five conversations at the same time. This is the revolution. In the first Okay. In the first 2 weeks, the first 7 days, as a matter of fact, in the first 7 days, we're going to dive right into your sales system. And I went back and added a sales system here because I wanted to make sure that you got in and started making money back right away, that you would not only make back the money that you invested, but I felt like I did not want to do all of this corporate compliance. It wouldn't make sense in a vacuum, that you would be more inclined to put these systems in your business and protect your money when you see it sitting in the bank. So we start in the first 7 days, you're going to learn a sales system. We're going to put the sales system in your business. Okay. We're going to clarify what your scalable offer is. Your one thing packaged and ready to sell. We're going to craft your magnetic message, position you as the sovereign authority in your niche, build your automated lead generation system so there's no more scrambling, launch your high converting sales process rooted in your authentic service, which you actually provide, and the result is going to be real revenue in your business within the first 7 to 14 days. The first 7 days, we're going to learn the system. The next 7 days, we're going to run the system. And then after, and see how much money you made. And then after that, now we're cooking. So then in the next few weeks, we're going to dive into our lift intensive. Okay. And in the lift intensive, we're going to clarify your current reality and your future vision. We're going to complete the lift assessment where we go through your legal, insurance, financial, and tax systems to see what holes you have in your business. Your legal is going to make sure you have the ironclad. And then after we know what holes you have, now we're going to fill those holes. Okay. And so we're going to make sure that you have the ironclad empire, entity contracts, intellectual property, personal legal planning, things like trust, will, healthcare directives, power of attorney. Because what happens to your business if something happens to you? How does your business continue? Then we're going to get into your insurance, your personal, business, and life coverage. We're going to go through your financial systems. Do you have a bookkeeper? Do you have QuickBooks set up? Do you know how to examine your profit and loss statements, or examine your cash flow? Then we're going to make sure your tax deductions are are in alignment with your chart of accounts. So we're going to be proactive with the CPA strategy with built-in quarterly taxes to maximize your deductions. Then last but not least, we're going to go through the legacy lock-in, which is going to cover succession planning, generational wealth transfer, and the final lift overview. Okay. So let's talk about what other people are saying. And this is, she wrote the forward in my book, Christine Holbrook. I appreciate her in this moment. And I quote, for about 25 years, I watched my ex-husband build a multi-million-dollar company from scratch. When it came to the dry, problematic aspects, the numbers, the contracts, the legal protection, the taxes, I shied away. I'm sorry. Even though my business grew, I made money and my clients loved me, I often felt like an imposter. Working closely with Miss Dean and implementing the strong lift foundation gave me genuine confidence about my business, its long-term success, and myself as a trustworthy business leader. Because let's face it, in the past, I was only playing dress up with my business. So let's talk about everything you're going to get when you sign up for this intensive. We're going to get the 8-week Revenue Revolution Sales Course of Action, which includes 6 weeks of live group coaching with myself and my team. It's a complete online lift course of action, as well as the blackwallstreet.com audiobook, 15 step-by-step implementation maps. So when you want to pull out a map and look through it and have a quick reference point, I put all of that together for you as well. You can get a complete legal template library that come with over 1,000 attorney drafted agreements. I also have conversation starters, and so that you know what questions that you need to ask your CPA when you're hiring a CPA, what to ask, what to in your insurance provider when you want to hire an insurance, when you're looking to buy insurance, and how to work with your tax professional. So we have those conversation starters in there. We also have a Lyft digital records binder so that you can keep everything in one place, in a digital place for you. Private community access plus group accountability. You also get a free one-on-one strategy with me where we're putting these systems in your business in real time. And this is a real world value of over $64,000, close to $65,000. Okay. And I really was heavy on the value because I wanted to make sure that you got your bang for your buck. Here's what I need you to do right now. I want you to open up a new tab and go to back to blackwallstreet.com, or if you can look below, you can click the link in the chat, the link on the page. Complete the enrollment, and then you'll get the next steps there. You'll be thrown to the page to join the private and the public community so that you can join the revolution. Because Black wealth is critical to Black power. Now, is there any questions? Is there any questions from the audience? Here are some commonly asked questions, so we can kind of go through some of these. Will this work for you? Will this work for my business? The legal vulnerabilities are the same across businesses. As you go through the program, it will be tailored to you. That's why it is a course of action, because that's the action that will be required from you and from me in real time, tailoring this to your business. So some of you may say, well, I'm just starting out. I don't know if this will work for me. But if you're just starting out, then that's great, because we can put these, we build it in real time together. So I'm Marye Dean Esquire here at the WallStreetLawyer.com, and I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for your commitment to your own Black-owned business, because Black wealth is critical to Black power.